Hello guys, TKG is here for your comfortable LostArk life. In this video, I'd like to cover one of his classes, Deathblade, as the video in my channel has some old introductions and editings, so I really want to remake it just like the recent cover videos. And of course add some more categories and explanation for a more clear build for your LostArk journey. Now follow me, I'll show what you need. Before I start this video, one thing you gotta know. This video is from the KL server. And of course, it is based on KL statistic and common experience right now. As the LostArk always try to fix the balance between the class by classes. So in the future, some of the composition of the skills can be a little bit changed too. And as the balance patches brought the Deathblade a huge modification, more like almost changed everything. So what I want to say is that some of the skill build or composition can be a little bit more experimentals. In other words, it can be changed on the future. So I will show you most representative and maybe common build on right now on KL. And also you can utilize some of the build on this video to your Deathblade on KL. So watch this video with those considerations and use this video as your reference to your LostArk journey. Let's start with the most basic of this video. Class engraving I'm going to cover in this video is Surge Bust on KL. As you guys might already and lovely know about the Surge Blade, management of the Surge was like stacking and bust, Surge in 20 stacks. But now you have to stack about 60. But no worries, stacking the Surge will much more easier than the previous versions. And as you expect, stacking the full Surge is the key to her management due to a reason of the damage boost. As the big proportion of the Surge got increased on her damage proportions, so critical or yellow numbers got more important during the gameplay. Personally, critical synergy on the party was quite satisfying on her damage performance. And as I mentioned in the first, some of the big structure of the management can be changed on the future because it has almost not much time passed since the patches. But unlike the big modification of her structure, build on her combat stat wasn't changed that much. So I think you really don't have to change a lot for the new modification of the Surge. In other words, for now, you really don't have to change your build proportion of your Surge Deathblade. Her build is quite typical like the any other classes in the LostArk, mostly similar with the Identity Backbone classes. So I really want to show you the variable of the Surge Blade, but as I keep mentioning, I really can't show all of the variation on this one video. So her build is quite fixed to your full specialization with critical stat. As a Surge or bust value got more important on the whole skill structure and damage performance, this build is quite fixed to use while controlling on her during the raid. Also, her engraving build can be summarized like this. As I mentioned in the first, her identity value got increased on the damage performance, at least more than level 2 adrenals it's quite forced to use. Or if you can't afford the 9/7 stone for your build, you can have a little light version build for your Surge Blade. For the level 1 Raid Captain or Ether Predator is quite recommended to use. It is more like a preference, so for more clear explanations, for the guys I go try or high hero rate, I recommend using the Ether Predator, or for the guys I just really hate to use the Ether Predator, try to use the Raid Captain. As you might expect, if you like the classes with the great damage with at least skills, this class engraving might be just for you. Also personally, I think if you like planning or calibrating a skill cycle and using in the right place on exact timing, this class engraving might be just for you. Unfortunately, Surge Blade needs stacking before you start. More like you need to do the pre-work for complete your skill cycle. If don't, you might see the half-cut damage all the time. Also, as I mentioned in the first, I think personally, Surge Blade is quite hard to get used to it for the beginners. I mean, you are now having some trouble to adapt to the raid, more like you are already busy for the raid. How could you calibrate and utilize your skills in the right and exact timing all the time, right? So if you don't like the classes that need some busy hand and eyes, this class engraving might be hard to get used to it. But of course, it's just a game. If you play over and over, you'll get better someday. Unlike the picky and tricky mechanic of the Surge Blade, actually, Surge Blade doesn't need that much thing for the right build. All you have to fulfill is a specific proportion of the stealth build and engraving on your Surge Blade. And of course, with more better control might be great to understand and utilize your Surge Blade in the actual gameplay. Core mechanic of the Surge Blade is Surge Stack, or more like stacking fast for the better damage performance. I gotta be honest, I think Surge Blade right now has some really short time to pour everything you have. Almost like you gotta do everything about in 8 to 10 seconds. Seriously, you really have to do everything on that short period of time. And of course, for compressing your DPS, you really have to stick to the enemy for full, or more like for great expressions, to bust during 10 seconds uptimes of the adrenals. Otherwise, you can miss some of the full stack surge or arts. Well, let me tell you more details on the tip section. Skill composition can be summarized like this. Actually, composition of the Surge Blade has not many things to explain. As the LostArk decided to change the concept or the style of the overall Surge Blade, most of the skills are consistent with the fast and multi-hit skills for easier art stacking. In other words, all of the skills are decent additional DPS skills, plus it is a skill that actually for the one skill called Surge. For more short, for Korean expressions, Surge is everything for the Surge Blade. Skill build can be summarized by this text box. I'll show you the tripod and gem priority on the priority section. Gem priority can be summarized like this. Tripod priority are now quite experimental, so there is no tripod priority for now. Actually, Surge Blade gem build can be slightly different on which skill you're going to use on your skill composition. But mostly, Surge, Blitz Rush, Blade Dance is quite fixed to use. And you can choose it from the Earth Cleaver or Turning Slash. Or you can just use these 3 Annihilation Gem for saving some cost on your build. Also on the cooldown gem, Wind Cut, Blade Dance, Blitz Rush is really helpful when you have some high level of Crimson Gem. I mean more than level 9. But of course, 7 is enough for the full cycle. Awakening skill is Flash Blink. Actually, the Awakening skill was quite preference to me, but for more easy supplying your identity, well, for KR expression, to smooth supply on your identity bubble, I think the Flash Blink is still effective to use it right away. I think the best advantage of the Surge Blade is damage itself. Within the fast and stylish combat style, might be great and fun to play in the whole contents. I know it needs some busy and accurate calibration on your skill cycle, but within those busy control, it has a great return. Unlike the other busy hand classes, Surge Blade has some better return. Previous version Surge Blade has some risk, right? Like if you miss the bubble or if your cycle got messed up, you need some time to bounce back on track, right? But right now, it has some soft cushions. If your status is like this, I mean, what a mess. But here are some tricks for that one. Right now, filling to a certain level of stack will return your arts bubble. So if you are in a hurry to catch up the cycle, you really don't have to fill up full to 60. About 40 stack will return your all bubbles. About 28 to 30 stacks will return your bubble about 2.1 or 2.5. So you could land your Deathblade cycle more softly than the previous versions. In other words, whatever you do on your cycle, the skill cycle can be maintained easily than before. Maelstrom will choose your next move. If you don't have it, you need to little bit wait about half a second on 45 to 46 stacks and then use the surge. Otherwise, you will miss the 60 stacked surge. But if you have a Maelstrom in your skill cycle, you don't have to wait for it. All you have to do is release your surge. If you don't have it, you need to little bit wait before the last wind cut and use the surge about on 47. Skill combo can be summarized like this. But gotta be honest, skill combo of the Surge Blade is really a reference. More like you need to understand it first, not memorizing it. You need to know or how to utilize your different skills with more flexibilities. Also, I write down some stack per each skills on the build and priority sections, So if you are having a hard time to making the 60, try to use this stack as your reference. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching everyone, and always, thanks for your big support. Hope this video was really helped for your LostArk journey. Hope you do well with your Deathblade with this video. And of course, if you liked my videos, hit the sub for more upcoming infos. I'll come back with more useful infos in the next video.